What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 5 of the Bottom at Christmas challenge here in FM19. We're back. You might notice on screen something very different to what you saw when I left you last time out. Now, I know some people are going to be a bit annoyed about the fact I've done some stuff off kind of camera. The reason for doing it basically is that it's kind of difficult sometimes to concentrate, to make decisions whilst also remaining entertaining. And obviously I want my videos to be entertaining. So what I've done is I've basically gone away. I've looked at the analysis for our league games. I've made some changes. I'm not changing too drastically, although at first glance they might look kind of drastic. And basically I want to talk about the rationale behind all the decisions. I think that's probably the best way to do things here. So yeah, essentially I'm going to explain the changes and why I've done them in a way better way than I could ever do just doing it live, where I was kind of umming and ahhing about things. Now the first thing to say is, whilst I have changed things here, that does not necessarily guarantee me success. Obviously we're kind of still going in, we're still tweaking the tactic. The familiarity with the tactic is actually kind of okay, which is good news. But well, let's start at the back. So in goal, we're actually just going to play a regular goalkeeper, not a sweeper keeper, because he can't play sweeper keeper very well. Now, defensively, it might not look like a lot of change has changed, but it really has. So, centre-backs, we're going to play two no-nonsense centre-backs. What I want Gibson and Tarkowski to do, really, is pick up the ball and just get it out of danger. When I was looking at the analysis, you can see we were losing a lot of the ball kind of just in the centre, in kind of the central third, with our kind of centre-backs just not really picking out a great deal of passes. And that's kind of just a concern. You know, if we untick the Plymouth game here, because obviously that was in the Cup, you can kind of see that simply put, we were losing the possession in the central areas of our own third. And that is just kind of inexcusable in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of that was our defenders trying to overplay things with our central midfielders. And the issue we were kind of having was very often we come up against teams with a centre attacking mid who sits between these two lines. And very often they were just kind of intercepting the passes and we were just giving the ball away here and leaving ourselves exposed at the back. So as no-nonsense centre-backs, I'm hoping that's going to address that problem somewhat. Another issue we've had is that we're losing the ball a lot. And I know Charlie Taylor's been kind of identified with it out on the left. But I think out on the right as well, we had a similar problem. So with our fullbacks, they are still playing as fullbacks on support. But in terms of in transition, previously we had throw it long and distribute to fullbacks as kind of the two kind of shouts. And that was kind of causing us some problems because we were getting the ball to our fullbacks, but they were giving the ball away quite a lot from what I could tell. So as a result, we are still going to try and distribute the ball to the flanks, but we're trying to use it to hit teams on the counter quickly. And the kind of the logic, I guess, behind distributing it to the flanks and just trying to get the ball up the field quickly is basically I'm looking to hit teams on the break a lot more. One of our big strengths that I really do feel like we have with this kind of team when it's at its best is in the wide attacking midfielder positions. Now, you'll notice I have ditched the inverted wingers, at least for now. We're going to give something different a go. Now, Hernani is naturally able to play as a winger out on the left, and you can see he's very well suited to it. His work rate could definitely be a bit better, as could his stamina. But he's more than capable of playing there. And on the kind of other side of the pitch, Sisto is very much the same. These are two players who are very, very well suited to be wingers. They're both very, very quick when it comes to their acceleration. They do have a turn of pace about them. So between them, we're going to push them higher up the pitch and play them as wingers. Now, they're going to chase back. They're going to have to do a job defensively for us. But equally, I do want them to make more runs into the final third. And I do want them to play a little further ahead of our centre mids. And, well, you'll notice when we come to our centre mids, we are ditching the box-to-box midfielder. And we're going to play a deep line playmaker in Hendrick. And whilst Hendrick isn't the craziest passer of the ball, he's quite comfortable with the ball at his feet with okay vision and passing. You can actually see as a kind of ball playing or ball ball. What am I talking about? As a deep line playmaker. For some reason, I was thinking of a ball playing defender in my head, but no, as a deep line playmaker, he's pretty well suited to this role. But at the same time, he does have some physicals to get up and down the pitch a fair bit. And I feel like, again, if we just look at the analysis here, we just weren't doing a great deal with the ball in the final third. I'm hoping that a deep line playmaker, unlike the box-to-box midfielder, he's going to come and collect the ball sometimes off the defenders if there is a bit of time. But equally, between Hendrick and Westwood, we have a little bit more solidity. I felt like sometimes we were getting hit on the counter where the box-to-box midfielder would get up, the inverted wingers would get up, the fullbacks would get up in support. And suddenly we were left in this situation where basically we had Westwood and our two centre-backs trying to deal with a counter-attack of pace, and we just didn't have a great deal of pace. So that's the changes there that we've done in the centre midfield. I'm looking for these guys to be a little more static, I guess, in their play. They're going to kind of hold their position a lot more and let this four ahead of them kind of do a lot more. Now, the wingers in Hanani and Sisto, we might experiment with this. We might try them as inside forwards. We might drop them deeper. But at least for now, I want to try them higher up the pitch. And while that brings us on to the strikers, where frankly, I don't feel like the deep line playmaker was working. I feel like that's a role that works really nicely with systems where you hold the ball for a longer period of time. We weren't doing that. We were struggling to have the ball for extended periods of time. You can see 3 of our 4 goals have come whilst we've enjoyed possession for 60 to 70 seconds, despite most commonly keeping the ball for between 0 and 10 seconds. We're not keeping the ball for very long when we have it. And I think there's a number of factors behind that. And I'm hoping that, changing some of the roles and some of the things as we have is going to help with that in terms of strikers being less isolated with the wide men starting higher up the pitch, the 2 centre mids holding their position a little bit more, offering an out ball instead of just running off ahead and leaving, other players a bit isolated. And then equally with the inverted wingers, just leaving the fullbacks isolated. So my thinking here is that we're not going to use a deep line forward because it really hasn't worked for us. Instead, we're going to go with a target man on attack in Wood and then an advance forward in Torres. Now, we don't have a great deal of pace. The pace is going to have to come from the wide midfielders making runs on ahead. But what we do have in Chris Wood and Torres is 2 players who are actually reasonably good in the air. You can see Chris Wood as a target man on attack is very, very well suited to the role with great physicals for it. And Torres as an advance forward, whilst, yes, he is lacking a little bit of the pace and physicals that you require, his actual technicals and his mentals as this role are just top notch. And really with them, we're going to have 2 players who are always going to be stood on the last line of the defence. They're always going to be stood on the 2 centre-backs of the opposition, hopefully causing them some problems. Anyway, the mentality that we're going to start with today away from home against Everton is cautious. I'm going to look to hit them on the break a little bit more. In terms of instructions, we're going to look to hit early crosses. I want to get the ball up the pitch quickly and into the box onto Wood and Torres' head. Equally, we are going to look to, play into space. I think the wingers, as opposed to the inverted wingers, are going to have a little bit more space to operate in, and particularly in games like this one against Everton and a lot of the games we've got coming up where we are going to have to play a bit more on the counter. These players are going to have basically room to break into because we're going to sit so deep that when we get the ball and we're trying to get it up the pitch quickly, there is going to be that space to run into. In terms of directness, we're going more direct. We're going to try and transition up the pitch a lot quicker. That is another reason, by the way, why I'm using the attacking midfielders kind of higher up the pitch, as you see here as a left and right attacking mid, is because I want them to be a little more advanced in their starting position, but as wingers on support, they still should track back a little bit. Obviously, you can see our tempo here. We're going to be urgent. We're going to try and get the ball around quickly. I'm hoping that that's going to work okay for us. In terms of the transition, I talked about this a little bit, but it's going to be less play to the fullbacks. We're going to be trying to get it onto the flanks, hitting teams on the counter quickly, not throwing it out. I don't want to lose the ball in danger areas, which is what we were doing a lot. Our centre-backs were losing it a lot between our centre-backs and our centre-mids. Our fullbacks have been losing the ball a lot. It's been a problem for us. And then out of possession, I've ditched the offside trap. It's just not working for us. We don't have the pace. We're going to sit back a lot more, but this is equally going to leave some space higher up the pitch for us to move into and to hit teams on the break. I am going to be looking really for the wide players, our 2 wingers, to be the 2 players making a lot of those runs forward into the space that we're leaving behind. You can see pressing. I have it on more urgently right now. I actually think we're going to go with standard the more I think about it, but I'm looking for us to keep quite a compact shape. In terms of our strikers, I'm just thinking about how I want to approach these guys here and what I'd like them to do. I mean, really, we're going to be looking at Wood, I imagine, to hold up the play a fair bit for us as the target man and, have players running off ahead. Really, it's going to be Sisto and Hanani we look to a lot, I think, in those areas of the pitch. But I do feel like this is hopefully going to serve us well. I thought things over. I hope I've explained some of the rationale kind of reasonably so you can understand the changes I've made and that I'm not making changes for the sake of it. You know, there has been some thought to all of this, which I'm hoping is going to work out for us. And to be honest, I think the best thing now to do is go and play Everton and get absolutely spanked, so that everything that I've just talked about for the last 10 minutes is completely obsolete. But I want to make it clear, I'm trying to make changes that I think are going to benefit us best. And, you know, looking through the analysis, you know, I've been able to identify some stuff that I'm hoping we can, address. I guess, equally, I'm not sure the inverted wingers were really working for us, but Hanani and Sisto were brought in with the kind of thinking, actually, they can both play in the wide areas very naturally. So, you know, if we do need to change it, if the inverted wingers aren't working, we've got them to turn to. And I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to work out better for us. Now, I know we've tried playing the cautious 4-4-2 before. Obviously, when we did that, we approached things quite differently, I feel like, to how they are now. And, well, let's get into this game. I mean, Everton are in 6th. We do also take on Tottenham at home. They're in 12th. These are both games that we are undoubtedly the underdogs in. It is going to be, hopefully, 4 games played today as well. It might result in a slightly longer episode, but we have got the games against Real Betis following the Everton and Tottenham games. Of course, these are the games that really, really matter for me. I have completely ballsed up the team talk, so this has gone well. I mean, apparently it's alarmingly quiet and the atmosphere is tense. I mean, I've probably not helped with that in hindsight, but you know what? Let's get into this. You know, we've all done this. You spend hours, you know, theorising a tactic, working out things, perfecting things, and then one day into your save game, you lose to your reserve side. There is undoubtedly a risk that happens here against Everton. But obviously, Everton up in 6th. They're in great form. They're a good team. They're going to be tricky for us. We've got to look to hit them on the break. You know, we're looking at players like Sisto and Hanani to be those players who exploit the space for us wide, and hopefully they're going to be able to do that for us, and hopefully we're going to be able to look a bit more solid defensively than we otherwise have done. Anyway, you can see here, Lowton wins the ball and boots it up. Can Wood get there? He can, of course he can. What a touch. Tries to get the ball into the box to Torres, but it's cleared away. Now with Sigurdsson, who gives it to Bruma, who drifts inside. I mean, that's an incredible run. Heaton holds on to it. Perhaps a little bit of a warning shot in our direction here. I really don't like to play cautious, but I feel like it's probably the best way to go. Obviously, that is kind of what counter is now. If you've not played FM recently, they are kind of the same thing. But, you know, we're going to look to have the ball. We're not going to overcommit men up the field, but then when we do have a chance to attack, we are going to commit men forward. I'm hoping it's going to work for us. It's very untested. I've not used a 4-4-2 like this with the kind of 2 wide players higher up the pitch since... Oh man, I'm trying to think. I mean, I shouldn't think. Bruma's just scored an absolute screamer, but I think since FM14. But that's not ideal. Bruma has just scored a bit of a screamer, really. I mean, I know I told my players to stand off a little bit more and close down. I feel like we've given him way too much space there to drift inside. No, I was going to say no complaints about the finish. I don't know if Heaton could have got there, but not ideal. You know what? Let's go balanced. Let's go back. Let's just, you know, wait things out, see how we settle in. Sisto down this right side, crosses in. Torres is there, just wide of the post, of course. Former Liverpool player, Fernando Torres. A reputation on Merseyside perhaps to uphold. Tiny bit concerning that Lowton's picked up a booking when Bruma's already scored from their left wing. He's going to have to be well behaved here. I mean, possession is pretty even, which I feel like is good. In terms of we're not giving away the ball as much in dangerous areas. It seems like a lot of the play here is coming from deep, although they've got a chance here. Whipped in. Lowton heads it clear. It's only as far as Sigurdsson who hits it. That was not far wide, was it? 30 minutes gone. I mean, it's 0-0. 0-0. It's 0-0. It's not 0-0. We're losing 1-0. But it's still very competitive, which is a good sign. I will say I'm a tiny bit concerned by how deep our strikers are sitting. I was hoping they'd be a lot more on kind of the last man. I almost wonder if in sitting back as we are, we're kind of inviting a bit too much pressure on myself as Bruma just scores. Another screamer, I think would be the best way to describe it. You know what? Let's play attacking. Let's throw our toys out the pram. I feel like we're sitting too deep here out of possession. The defensive line is going to be, you know, kind of standard. Let's just go standard. Let's keep things simple. Back to basics. he says at 2-0 down. I mean, to be fair, it's been two absolute screamers. I don't feel like I'm to blame for either of these. Perhaps you could say we've sat back, we've let them have the chance to come at us and score. I don't know. If we get a goal now, there's hope. And hope is kind of what we need here. Jeff Hendrick, wide to Sisto. Hendrick, back with the ball. Switches it out to the left to Charlie Taylor. Can he get it? And he can. Torres is there, just wide of the mark again. That was a really, really good opportunity for us. I mean, we did something going forward. That hasn't happened that much throughout this year. If we're being completely transparent, boys. Show me something else in this second half. I'm trying to think of an analogy for how I'm feeling right now. And I've got one in my head, but I almost don't want to say it because it's embarrassing to admit. But I feel like I'm in a situation now where I've been handed a Rubik's Cube, and I don't know how to do a Rubik's Cube in real life. So at this point here at Burnley, I'm kind of twisting the sides of the Rubik's Cube around, hoping that I can kind of get a few colours that match close together and then build off that. At the moment, we're not having any colours on the same side of the Rubik's Cube. I mean, we've brought in a lot of new players that are going to take a while to settle in, and we've got tricky games coming up, but I need them to start settling in sooner and really contributing. I mean, Everton are just... They're in great form. They're a good team, don't get me wrong, but I'd like to give them a closer game than this away from home. Calvert-Lewin just letting us off the hook a little bit, giving us a little bit of a chance. Another set piece. It's Hestad who's going to cross it in. It's cleared away just about by Hernani, but only as far as Brumo. Goes back to Hestad. Might try and get it, and he does. Lowton heads it clear, only as far as Kenny, who hits it off the woodwork. Gibson, get it out, please. Thank you. I've realised I've changed our players to inside forwards here in the hope it's going to do something, but nothing is happening. We're not creating anything. Are we being too direct with our play? Are we rushing it too much? Do we need to slow it down a little? Is that the problem? Maybe that's it. Let's play slow and direct. Let's not rush it. Let's not panic on the ball. Let's take a breather. Relax. Sisto. I mean, he goes wide to Taylor. If we get a goal now, there's hope. Wood's there. He's got to score that. Shirley. Saved away by Pickford. We've had chances in this game. Make absolutely no mistake. I want to demand more from the players. I don't know if that's even going to get a good reaction, to be honest. They're so low of confidence right now. Torres with the ball. This is working better, isn't it? The inside forwards and playing slower. Hernani crosses it. I mean, straight down Pickford's throat. I don't know if that was a shot or a cross. Either way, Pickford going to try and build something from the back here. One big ball over the top. Let's deal with this here. Taylor, wide to Hernani, who gets the ball. He tries to get the ball forward with absolutely no success. Brumo, who's on for a hat-trick, drifts inside. Crunching tackle on him. Fair play. We are still on key highlights. I'm always paranoid about the fact that the game's switched the highlights to full match. But no, we're through here. Wood's got to score that. 2-1. Maybe the Rubik's Cube has a colour that matches. Let's make some changes. Sisto is really, really struggling with fitness right now. So with that in mind, I'm going to bring in Brady to play on the left. I'm also going to take off Hernani on the right, who's been poor. And Torres has been poor. I'm going to bring in Ashley Barnes. I mean, the direct play has worked there. We just need it to work once more. But it's a bit hoofbally from the back. But hey-ho, if it works, it works. Wood gets it. One ball out of his feet. Tucks it into that bottom corner. I mean, is there hope? Triple change happening for us. We have some time left over to try and get another goal. But it's going to be tricky. Barnes crosses it in. Baines clears it away. Only as far as Gudmundsson. Now with Lowton, who crosses it back post. Baines is there. Or Baines. No, Baines isn't there. That's Barnes, Jack. Learn your players. I know we're playing Everton and it's very confusing. I mean, the Rubik's Cube might have a side of colours that matches. Before this game ends, I want to save this tactic for the sake of it. So we'll call it 4-4-2 IF Burn. I realise that you can't see it because I've got an Xbox controller plugged in, so it's on Steam Big Picture. I saved to an external list to load a tactic with changes made in a match. Select the appropriate tactic file from the managed tactics up. This is very confusing. I will rewatch the video back if I need to of what we've done so far. We've changed a lot about the tactics. I probably should have read that bit again. What did it say? It was words and they confused me. It was words and they... Let me see. So if I now load the tactic here, is it going to load it correctly? Maybe? It has. Okay, that's fine. Yes, discard all changes. I think we might have something here, and I almost want to try it against Tottenham and see if it can work. The colours of the Rubik's Cube might match. I mean, we are still bottom, but we only lost 2-1 against the team who are in 6th. The unfortunate news is I think Brighton got a point against Spurs. No, they didn't. They lost. I'm lying. I'm lying. So... 6 points away from safety. Wood is on a goal drought still. Oh, wait, no, he's not on a goal drought. He ended his goal drought. Of course he did. Right, let's load up what we just played, because I think that worked quite well. I'm hoping this is going to load correctly. Is that what we played? I think it was, wasn't it? Or was it? No, I think that this is what we had, because it's all standard. This is what we're going to try. I think this is a terrible attitude to have. Not attitude. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not the best mindset to have. I think I'm panicking. I'm out of my comfort zone here at Burnley, which I kind of enjoy. You know, when we get relegated, we'll just try it again in another few months and see if I can do it better the next time around. I will say it's very difficult, I feel like, in Football Manager to get teams out of ruts. It's certainly something I don't have that much experience with either. You know, very often I have time to kind of plan my team through during a pre-season, kind of work out exactly how I want to play. Not afforded time to do that here. We've been at the club a month. That's, you know, basically a pre-season. But the issue is that in our kind of pre-season period, the same period of time, we've had matches that we have to play and results that we have to try and get. Genuinely, I thought it'd be easier than this. Especially with the money we were given. But it's tricky. I will say we were very, very competitive against Everton. At least after we made change. I mean, 2-1 is not a bad performance away from home, even for Burnley if they were doing well. I want to be like, our relegation, or, you know, well, basically securing safety ultimately is going to come down to the, you know, the teams that we have to play. Tony Lolan, we're risking losing him. Tony, don't leave me, Tony, please. I can change. But no, what I was going to say is with a relegation kind of situation like this, where we are what 13 games away from the end of the year, and we probably need 22 points, which is going to be tricky. But you'd look at the games coming up and go, right, we need to beat the teams around us. Now the issue is with the way that this kind of season is scheduled out. Like, we've missed a lot of those easier game opportunities. You can see there was like a good little run in November and December where the team did pick up some points just prior to us coming over, but that was against lesser teams. I do wonder if we'll look back at the likes of the Newcastle game, the Leicester game, as games that we could have done better in, and the same with Southampton and Wolves at home. Because after this Tottenham game, we have 2 games against Real Betis. And then following that, it only gets more difficult for us. You know, we played the top 3 in the space of 4 weeks. And the way things are going, we're going to need to get points against the likes of Tottenham at home here. I mean, we absolutely have to stand any chance whatsoever. Apparently we can mutually terminate Crouch and Barnes' contracts. Oh, in fact, it isn't Barnes's. Board, I mean, thank you for the advice. My system's like, we could release Crouchy. The board are like, no, can't afford it. Hendrick and Taylor taken ill. I mean, Charlie, go home. If you've got a cold, go home. Also, Jeff Hendrick out with the flu. That could be interesting going into this next game. Isn't really the situation I want to be in with Tottenham. Apparently Hendrick's going to miss the game. I got told he'd be fit in a day. Was I lied to? I feel like I might have been. Right, we've got Tottenham here. We are on very attacking right now, which I don't want to be on. I want to be on I want to be on regular. Do I want to be on attacking or do I want to be on positive? I don't really want to patiently probe, so I think attacking is the way to go. With Hendrick out, we're going to have to play Defor as a deep line playmaker on support, which, to be fair, he's not bad at playing at all. It's a shame his off the ball isn't a tiny bit better. Taylor is also out of this game at left back, so it's going to have to be Brady who comes in for him, which could cause us some problems. Oh, do I want to play without wing backs on attack? I don't think I do. I'm going to play with them on support and see how that serves us, I think. I'm actually tempted to try them as actual wing backs rather than as full backs, you know? That might help them overlap the inside forwards a little bit more in Hanani and Sisto. We'll swap these guys around so they're cutting in on their stronger feet. Am I happy with this Rubik's Cube setup? I feel like I almost have to be. Torres, I'm going to be honest, he got 2 goals for us and I was hyping him up. Since then, he's done absolutely nothing. You know what, I'm going to do something that might be a little bit tedious here. But I'm going to criticise all of the players in our first team's recent form because they've actually all been awful. I kind of wish there was a better way to do this. I'm assuming that I can't just select all players and criticise their form all at once. There's a few players who I might leave out of it. No, I can't. Right, we're going through them one by one. I'm sorry. Ben Gibson. No, not good enough, mate. You need to step up. Brady. One player. Criticise recent form. Declining. This is a game. We have to beat Spurs here. Part of me's like, maybe I should just wait. Maybe I should just wait until after this the tough run of games and then start, you know, doing this stuff. Because I can criticise these players' recent forms, those who have played recently and haven't performed. But if we go on to get spanked in the next few games, what was the purpose of it? I might as well have waited to criticise their recent form, you know, until they're a little bit further in. Chris Wood as well. You've not been that great, have you, recently? Anyone on the bench who I want to criticise? Gudmundsson, since I've come in, mate, just not done good enough. I feel like there should be a quicker way to do that. Barnes as well, Ashley. Come on, Ashley. Today's the day. You're going to do better on off the bench. I believe in it. Anyway, this is the team we're going to go with. We're going to go with the inside forwards and see how it serves us. It looked okay against Everton in the second half of the game. This Spurs team, by the way, is nowhere near like a 13th place team. But they're low on confidence. We're low on confidence. What's the opposite of the unstoppable force and the immovable object? It's the movable object and the stoppable force. That is what this meeting is going to be kind of billed by the neutral. Let's see how we get on. They've got a set piece early on. That's concerning me. Eric Dyer. Not a great ball into Eric, but he does put it back in the mixer. Lucas Moura's there. He's offside. He's up. Relax, everyone. Should we just play cautious and on the break? Maybe we should. I panicked a little here because they've looked quite good in the opening and had a goal disallowed. We'll be a little more conservative in our play. Brady, what can you do? Free kick. Dinks it in. Gibson can't quite win it. Now it's Vertonghen to maybe spring the counter-attack. I mean, look how many men they've got forward. Where are our defence? Where is the effort to get back? Dele Alli. There's like 4 players queuing up in the box. I mean, it's concerning, isn't it? Ericsson hits it. I mean, it's at the post. Just get it out. So I just go defence. I can't just play for a draw, can I? That's the issue I've got here. I need wins. I want to hit them on the break, but I don't know if we are even capable of that. Oh my! How has that gone in? I'm going back on the. What was that? I want to see that again, please. Dele Alli's been given the goal. How did it go in? Trippier crosses it in. Eric Dyer. I mean, it's a little bit Pickford versus Liverpool, isn't it, that? I think it hit the woodwork and bounced up. I don't know if the keeper actually got a touch on it. I feel like one of our defenders should have been capable of dealing with it, but they weren't. Since we've gone on attacking, we've had a few more shots, but they are on the attack here, and Kane scored an offside goal. I mean, it's a good job the linesman's here. He's saving our bacon a little bit, isn't he? Was he off? He was off. I'm just going to say he was off and click off it. I don't want to watch it. I mean, it's only 1-0 at half-time. But if I thought I was close to a solution with the Rubik's Cube, like, it's in pieces on the floor at this point. Show me something else. I don't know what to do, boys. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to say I'm stumped. I'm a little stumped as to what to do. I feel like maybe we have to try Westwood on support. Do I drop Sisto and Hanani deeper on just as wingers? Is that the solution? Oh, I don't know. I'm almost tempted to play Gudmundsson on the left. Hanani's not had the worst game on the pitch. In fact, he's been one of the better performers. That's probably not the right move. Sisto's been poor on the right. Torres has been really poor lately. Let's bring in Ashley Barnes for him. And we're going to play him as a pressing forward on attack. That's what we're going to do. That's the changes. Oh boy. This series is definitely a test of how long can I stay blindly positive for. If this was like a live stream, I'd be turning to the chat for entertainment value now to get me out of this slump. It's difficult to remain positive. It's a test of my mental fortitude. I really thought with some of the signings we made, we'd look a little bit better going forward. I mean, we're yet to have a shot in the second half after 20 minutes and we're a goal down. You know what? I'm going to push the Weidman further up. I'm going to play a 4-2-3-1 and see if we can just get it to work. I'm going to bring Hendrick on off the bench as well to play Shadow Striker on attack. Therefore, you can go to Deep Line Playmaker on defend. I'm going to try Westwood on ball winning midfielder on support, I think. I do have one more sub to make. Sisto's been awful on the right, so we'll bring in Gudmundsson for an opportunity. I mean, we need a goal. We need something. And we need it soon. I mean, can we have that given to us as a shot, Mr. Statsman? Can you just give us it out of pity? Kane here with the ball. Dele Alli, acres of space. He's going to bury that. I mean, this was always going to be a tricky episode. In fact, the next two are kind of going to be tricky. The issue we've got is we need 38 points to be safe and stay up. 38 points is usually kind of the special number. We're currently on 16. And the game's left to try and get something. I think it would be fair to say they're numbered. The whole team is just so low on confidence. It's very, very difficult to see where we're going to get anything from. I mean, Brady set piece would be nice, wouldn't it? He hits it. Saved away. We're not even going to get the rebound. Vertonghen gets it clear. I mean, that's the closest we've come to scoring. It's taken until the 85th minute or something. That is our first shot on target of the game. That in itself is pretty blooming shocking, isn't it? Oh, that's not ideal. Not ideal would probably be the best way to describe the two league games we played today. I mean, the thing is, 2-0 against Tottenham at home, I feel like with our current squad, wouldn't be the worst result 9 times out of 10. But obviously, knowing what's on the horizon, it's difficult to find a positive, isn't it? I mean, we absolutely had to win, I think, one of those games against Southampton and Wolves to have a chance. I mean, the good news is we now get to take part in the Europa League. Oh, God. I kind of want to get knocked out of it just so we can focus on the league more, but it might be what saves my job. The other issue is we've not been able to register that many of our new signings for this game against Betis. It only gets more difficult for us. It only gets more difficult. Now, all of our coaching staff are now getting poached. I mean, I'm desperate to keep hold of them. Desperate. Please stay. It's difficult, folks. It's difficult. Burnley's gripped by Europa League fever. I'm feeling it too. I'm feeling a fever. It's the fever of the fact that we are being trounced in the league and we have the top 3 to play next episode. You know, I thought we'd go away, recollect our thoughts, change some stuff tactically. I think it would be fair to say it's not really worked. I might try Wood as a poacher, you know, and swap him and Torres around. I think Advance for a poacher is two that I like together as a strike partnership. Here's the other issue. The registration rules meant that we couldn't register that many of our new signings. So that is going to cause us some problems. The good news is Andy's available to play. So Andy, you're on, mate. Good luck, have fun. Charlie Taylor can come in for Brady at left back. We literally don't have a striking option. We have McNeil as a backup striker, and that's kind of it. I mean, McNeil, if you can score some goals on off the bench, you're going to start starting in the league, mate. That's the words of confidence I've got for you. Sisto, you know, we've paid big money for you, mate. I need you to start doing something. Just think about how I want to approach things here. I genuinely feel a bit stumped as to what to do. And it makes the videos very difficult. And I'm sure for some people this probably isn't the most enjoyable series because of the struggles. But I'm hoping, if nothing else, I can watch back this series when I'm back from my vacation that I'm like going on after this. I'm glad that I'm recording these before I go away and can unwind. But I feel like I will look back at this and go, what was I thinking for some of the decisions I've made? I'm sure you're thinking that in the comments. What are you doing? As I said, it's a challenging kind of save as a concept. I feel like with some of the injuries we've had, with the kind of Burnley squad situation, it was always going to be a little bit tricky. I don't know. I feel like with some of the transfers, we looked okay. But, I mean, the reality is Burnley have a very, very small squad that just isn't equipped to deal with a European campaign. There's a reason why they were bottom of the league at the time of me taking over. And that was before they lost Jack Cork. He was injured like a week before we joined, their best player. So I always knew this was going to be difficult. But it's been more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And the fact they've scored so early is a teeny tiny bit of a concern. You know, I was hoping that we could, you know, grind something out in the Europa League, prove that this system could work as a theoretical system, and then maybe carry it forward. But what I'm quickly realising here is maybe this 4-4-2 isn't going to work either, which sucks. I want to believe it can. I mean, there's still time. They've scored one long-range wonder goal. There's still hope. Sisto down this left-hand side. I mean, we paid £7 million for him. £7 million! It was nearer 8, but let's not think about it. Hesse's through for them. He hits it. Heaton stops it. Charlie Taylor gets in a sliding lunge to, well, put it out for a corner. It's been an ongoing challenge. I think we're in an okay spot. Really? I mean, we're still in it. We're still in it. The Cello, he's already scored one. Or is it Lo Celso? I mean, they've got some good players, haven't they? They've got Christian Tello. They've got Hesse. They've got players whose names you recognise as being FM wonder kids of the past. I have no good idea how good Tello is now. He's not even that good. God. I mean, he's a Spanish international with one cap, but he's a Spanish international. I mean, we are just getting destroyed game after game. It's a bit demoralising, I'm not going to lie. You know what? Let's try wingers on attack. Oh, I don't know, folks. I don't know. It hurts to bear witness to in a lot of ways. I'm sure it hurts for you guys watching as well. They've had 2 clear-cut chances. They've taken one of them. They've had a really good long shot going. As I said, there is a saving grace here in that if we get knocked out, at least I can focus on the league then. But that might be of little consolation. Right, what can we do? Defort. I mean, if we get a goal now on the hour mark, there's hope. And we need a little bit of that. Gibson gets the ball up. Gives it away. I mean, I'm wondering if the no-nonsense centre-back is even the right thing to do here. Our centre-back's just going to give away the ball now, more now, just trying to hoof the ball clear. Thing is, we have defenders who are actually good at being a ball player, but they're just giving away the ball so much. Oh, I don't know. Part of me wants to try 4-3-3. But I don't even know if I've got 3 centimetres. Wood. To Barnes. I mean, there's hope. We have hope. Ashley Barnes scores his 12th goal of the season. He brings the ball back with purpose. I mean, let's watch it. Let's savour it. There's the no-nonsense centre-back lumping the ball over the top. It's worked okay there. Wood's deflected cross was clearly calculated. Rocket League style. You know, he kind of saw the opposition. He was like, if I bank it off them, it's going to go to my mate. 25 minutes left. Can we get another? Go on, Andy. Okay, Andy's been tackled by Joaquin. Wide on the right. Plays it across to Javi Garcia. Now with William. I guess that's William Carvalho there. Don't let him get the ball in. Emerson now with it. I mean, Betis have a pretty good team when you look at it. I'll let you decide if it's better than Burnley's squad, but I'm going to claim it is. William, Javi Garcia now with it. I should point out that with this save game, I have got a lot of leagues loaded. So if we do get sacked, maybe we just keep on going and turn it into a journeyman and try and redeem ourselves. We'll call it the road to redemption. Who knows? Sisto, Barnes, score my son. He's off. He's off. For a second I believed it was possible. We're kind of playing with a spring in our step now. I'm going to bring in Jeff Hendrick, although I'm going to be honest, a few of our players are having absolutely awful games for us, including Sisto. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I'm going to do it. We've paid £8 million for him. I don't think he's done anything so far for us. The Kelso now with it. Goes back to William. Javi Garcia. I mean, if they get a third, it's probably game over, but I feel like we need to at least draw it level on the night. They've got 2 away goals. If things stay as they are, we need a minimum of 2 goals in the away leg, so we need another here. And Joaquin is going to score to make it 3-1. I mean, we still technically need 2 goals in the reverse fixture. Technically. Oh, I mean, 10 minutes. Can we get one? Can we give ourselves a little bit of hope? Charlie Taylor, Hendrick. I mean, the wingers seem okay. It feels like we've done more since we've changed the system to drop the wide men deeper. Wood now with it. Crosses it. Gudmundsson's there. It was a free header. I would have backed him. I would have backed him to do something with it. Unfortunately, he's nodded it over the crossbar. 50 seconds for a goal. I feel like I'm hoping for a miracle. Miracles can happen. Don't let anyone tell you differently. But I don't know if we're going to get one today. I am stumped as to what to do here. I'm now beginning to wonder if passing it into space is actually the problem. Because until this year, I always swore against using that. And that's kind of just left over from when we switched to the kind of the Invincibles 4-4-2. I kind of left it in there thinking, oh, well, that's going to give us space to exploit. But I think in passing it into space, especially with our slow strikers, we're probably passing it to space where they're not going to latch onto it. And that might also explain why our passing's been so poor. So with that in mind, let's get rid of that. I don't mind hitting it into the box early in some ways, because our two strikers should be there, but I wonder if, you know, combining that with looking for the overlap is maybe causing us some issues. Let's get rid of look for the overlap. But with this system, we've got the wing backs on spot anyway, so they will naturally overlap, but it might just limit them a little bit more. I mean, suddenly we're lacking a lot of instructions, but simpler sometimes better. We've got a week now to mentally reset and do better. Show some progress. I mean, the good news is one of our coaches who was looking to get poached hasn't left us. So that's one of the first wins of today's episode as far as I'm concerned. I mean, what do we do? What do we do? I don't even know what to try at this point. I'm hoping that just removing passing to space is just going to suddenly make everything click for us. We've got Liverpool who are top on Saturday. If I thought this episode was painful, next episode is going to be on a whole nother level of just pain and suffering that I'm not sure I want to bring myself to endure. I mean, we'll see how it looks. I mean, if you like pain and suffering and want to feel better about your own FM saves, I feel like the upcoming episode is going to be for you. Because I have no idea how we are going to get anything from these next few games. Part of me's like, should I even upload this? But I feel like it's worth uploading to show that it doesn't always go as well as Leon does. It doesn't always end. You don't always get a happy ending in Football Manager. Much like in life, pain and suffering is the bulk of it sometimes, and you've got to enjoy these bad times to enjoy the good. Right, we've got a game here. We need lots of goals, so I feel like we're just going to go with a direct attacking system and see how it suits us. Let's take our centre-backs off no nonsense and just put them on regular centre defenders. Even though they're both good players at passing the ball, that's why it's a bit of a weird situation where I'm kind of like, do I want to play them as ball players and see what they can do? I mean, that might not be the worst idea, you know. It might not be the worst idea to play them, because at least playing as a ball winner, they're going to try and pick out passes from deep and then, you know, like ping the ball forward. And with us playing more direct, they will look for the longer balls instead of perhaps the more risky balls that are short. Anyway, I'm trying to encourage the players and tell them that there's more to come from them, and I believe I've got what it takes. But when that team talk doesn't work anymore, like my default one, hope is fading. You know, the candle on Burnley's Europa League dreams is very much flickering in the wind right now. We need 3 goals. We need 3 goals. It's not happening. Why have we turned up? Why have we even turned up? Did I get rid of... I did get rid of passing to space. Of course I did. We've gone more simple. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Does the same thing count if it's constantly changing things? I mean, Heaton's made a save there, to be fair. So I'm going to give him some plaudits for that. I feel like he could have held on to it, but... I mean, let's just try and win this leg. Let's just try and win this leg. They've hit the woodwork again. Gibson, get it out. He goes wide to Wood. Part of me really wants to get a 4-4-2 like this to work now. To see if it's actually possible. It feels like it should be. Maybe I should try playing more narrow as well. Just in general, more compact. Joaquin's bring the ball forward. Our fullbacks just let them cut inside. I almost want to have him close down more. Because our fullbacks just let them drift inside. And in this year's FM, long shots are so good, you really can't afford to let players drift in. Also, it's just dawned on me that we've still got loads... Because I saved the tactic out during the game. I made him ease out of tackles because he was on a booking. So he's still been on that. Fortunately, he's the left back. Or rather, the right back. And we conceded from the left-hand side. So it wasn't my fault that he stood back like he did. Or at least that's what I'm going to tell myself. Christian Tello, edge of the box. Blocked away. I mean, please, just put us out of our misery. It's the right thing to do. It's the kind thing to do. We need 3 goals. If we score 3 now and can go through somehow... I mean, Andy, mate. Andy. Alright, come here, mate. What was that? Please talk me in your head what your thought process was there. Show some passion. Look at that. Fired up. That's what we need more of. More passion, boys. Team talk. I'm not happy. I'm not happy one little bit, lads, with what I've just witnessed. You know what? Going into this episode, you might have got a vibe of optimism from me in the first 10 minutes. I thought, you know what, we've changed some things. We've thought about it a bit logically, tried to work out where some of the problems might be, tried to take steps to remedy those problems, and it's really just not worked. Is the simple way to phrase it. It's just... morale plays a big role in FM. It does. Barnes, finish that. That will do. I mean, Barnes is scoring. Barnes... right, get off cautious. We're going very attacking. We still need 3 goals. I'm going to go with another show some passion. Fewer players reacted well that time. 20 minutes left. Right. Aaron Lennon, desperate times call for desperate measures. Get on the pitch. Gudmundsson, get on the pitch. Chris Wood's been awful. Dwight McNeil, the hometown hero. What can you do, my friend? We need goals. And we need to not concede. I make it sound very simple, don't I, when I phrase it like that? Emerson on the overlap at right back. Lots of space for him here. I mean, Rober's scored. I included him in my best wonder kids this year in FM list. So, in some ways, I feel vindicated that he's scored. But with that, we are now out of the Europa League because we are not scoring 3 goals in this game. I mean, to be fair, we needed to score 3 goals to take it to extra time. We now need 3 goals just to win it on the night. I want to believe there is like a combination of moves I can do now tactically that would actually get me like the win. And I want to know what they are just for my own curiosity. What I can tell you categorically is the solution wasn't to keep things as I have done and gone more attacking. They're 3-1 up again. I want to try and find a positive, like at least we're going out the Europa League fighting. At least we're going down swinging. But we're not. is the simple answer. We're not. It's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. 6-2 on aggregate. I mean, at least the suffering's over, I guess. I mean, we've got Liverpool who are top next. What do I do? I really wish I wasn't doing this series all in advance before I go away, because I'd love to know what you guys in the comments are suggesting and at least try some of it. I will say at the end of this series, I will provide save games at various points throughout, because I do use rolling saves between episodes just so I can, keep a documentation, I guess, of as I go through. You know, after I record every episode, I save basically to then load up the next time I want to record. I will make all the save games available, and I challenge you to do better because I'd love to see how different people would approach it, either making their own transfers or in trying to make something of the transfers that I've done, which, I'm going to be honest, haven't quite come off. would be the generous way, I think, to phrase it. It could have gone better, would be the way I'd describe things. We'll rest our players for 2 days. We've got, I mean, at least the Europa League's out of our hair now, so we can focus on the league. But we've got first and then we've got second to start tomorrow's episode, including a trip to Anfield. I mean, pray for us. Please pray for us. What am I going to do? What am I actually going to do? When the best training performer's on a 6.95, that's not a great sign. I mean, we've got Liverpool in first, we've got Chelsea in second, we've then got Palace in 11th and Arsenal who are fourth, and then we've got United in third not long after. The next 6 games, we could be sacked by them. What's the board confidence looking like? They're concerned about the tactics, they're concerned about it. They're happy with the I mean, which transfers are you most happy with? Jadon. I mean, Jadon, the latest signing we made, the board like you, mate. They rate you as a bit of business. Sisto, concerning, I think would be the way to describe his reception. But yes, I think that wraps us up here for the Bottom at Christmas challenge. We've not won in 2 episodes. It's concerning. Ashley Barnes is the man getting all the goals, by the way. I feel like I've got to start him, haven't I? Maybe I'll start him instead of Torres. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to go away and think about things. And life in general. You know, I'm going to be quite philosophical. We're going to Anfield next. We're going to blooming Anfield. Oh, I don't even know. I feel like we might want to just play really narrow and compact in the attack. Then look for the overlaps. I wish I knew. Well, I was going to be like, I've got until tomorrow to think about it, but the reality is I've got to come back to this save in a couple of hours and work things out. I will apologise, guys, if my over negativity in this series is frustrating. Obviously, it's really difficult. It's very raw. You know, when you're doing these kind of saves and things aren't going to plan and it's updates, it's kind of easy to put on a brave face for a game or two every so often. And then, you know, you kind of do the games against the big teams off screen and don't worry about them. I don't have that liberty here. You kind of get to endure my suffering. I hope in some weird, somewhat sadistic way it's entertaining at the very least. But yeah, that's going to be all from me today. Let me know in the comments, will I survive tomorrow's episode? I don't know. What I do know is you're going to be able to see it tomorrow. Right, folks, thank you for watching. If you are enjoying this series in a weird way, do leave a like on it. I'll see you again tomorrow. And, well, it is me, Jack. And I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.